wealth, recognition, and the pros. It's the ultimate aspiration for every young basketball player. Yet, for a number of NBA newcomers, that aspiration spiraled into a monetary disaster. Join us as we explore the staggering tales of 15 NBA rookies who faced financial ruin. Take Antoine Walker, who squandered his fortune in an effort to support those close to him, and Delonte West, whose challenges plummeted him from the limelight to devastating news stories. May God be with you. I just wish for my family and me to be all right. Here are the individuals who watched their chances fade away. Want to understand how their decline happened so swiftly? Let's analyze it. Chris Washburn. Chris Washburn's journey began with immense potential. Arriving in 1966, he emerged as a basketball phenomenon, boasting an impressive stature and innate ability that set him apart during his high school days. His exceptional skills attracted the eyes of collegiate recruiters, securing him a place at North Carolina State University. However, challenges surfaced quickly. Merely 7 games into his first year, he was apprehended for stealing a stereo and faced suspension. Nevertheless, his remarkable talent on the court continued to captivate NBA scouts. In 1986, the Golden State Warriors made a bold choice, selecting Washburn with the 3rd pick in the NBA draft. Hopes soared, yet his inaugural season was tumultuous. He was often tardy to practices, neglected team obligations, and began battling substance misuse. As the season progressed, a timely opportunity arose for him to secure housing assistance. It was during this period that he made his first trip to rehab, foreshadowing the challenges that would regrettably characterize his career. Despite his move to the Atlanta Hawks, circumstances didn't improve. Washburn struggled with repeated drug setbacks, leading the NBA to impose a lifetime ban. This ruling concluded his time as a professional player and initiated a steep decline. The wealth he amassed disappeared quickly. He listed his upscale Atlanta residence for sale and soon found himself destitute. Life turned challenging for Washburn. He went from a promising rookie in the league to pleading for food and cash from acquaintances in Atlanta. Similar to Chris Washburn, the next NBA hopeful possessed immense talent, yet drugs and poor decisions derailed their path. Javers Crittenton had an optimistic beginning. Born and raised in Atlanta, he was nurtured by his diligent mother, Sonia Dixon, who dedicated herself to providing him with opportunities for a brighter future. Since childhood, Javers showcased extraordinary talent in basketball. Under the guidance of local mentor Tommy P.J. Slaughter, he honed his skills and developed the dedication necessary for excellence. His significant opportunity arose when Wallace Prather Jr. invited him to join the prestigious Atlanta Celtics AAU team. Competing on a national level, Javers emerged as one of the leading high school prospects across the nation. He became a standout player at Georgia Tech and ultimately reached the NBA, selected 19th overall by the Los Angeles Lakers in the 2007 draft. However, his career took a downward spiral in Washington. Following a heated dispute about a card game with teammate Gilbert Arenas, both players introduced firearms into the locker room, resulting in lengthy suspensions. Subsequently, Javers returned to Atlanta and associated with the wrong influences, getting involved with the Mansfield Crips gang. By 2011, his life began to unravel. He faced accusations for a woman's death in a gang-affiliated event and subsequently received a 23-year prison sentence. Throughout his incarceration, costly legal struggles depleted his finances. Extravagant NBA expenditures, coupled with poor financial foresight and a lack of alternative career options, led to his financial ruin. As his reputation deteriorated, chances for endorsements vanished. Javers' journey shifted from the pinnacle of the NBA to total loss. Crittenton's existence unraveled amid gang affiliations and brutality. Yet another NBA player's path veered into a similarly tragic saga of downfall. Robert Swift's narrative embodies both remarkable peaks and sorrowful valleys. Hailing from Bakersfield, California, he was a basketball sensation whose talent took him to great heights. At merely 18, he jumped from high school directly into the NBA when the Seattle Supersonics selected him in 2004. Grand aspirations and soaring hopes dissipated when injuries, subpar performance, and the team's shift to Oklahoma City sidelined his career. Throughout 4 seasons, he amassed $11 million, a substantial sum for many. Yet his NBA journey concluded unexpectedly. Similar to numerous young sports stars, Swift failed to consider the long term. He indulged in extravagant vehicles, opulent homes, and whatever piqued his interest. The lifestyle was ostentatious, but the spending habits proved unwise. As his career came to a close, the funds dwindled rapidly. His challenges didn't end there. He resorted to substances, which rapidly consumed his existence. Dependency shattered not just his well-being, but also obliterated any chance to revive his profession or attain balance. The situation deteriorated significantly. By 2013, Swift found himself residing in a repossessed estate cluttered with debris, liquor, and drug-related items. Newspapers chronicled the tale of a formerly aspiring sports star now clinging to his old home. As homelessness loomed, his legal issues escalated. In 2015, he was taken into custody for having a sawed-off shotgun, highlighting his battle with addiction and unlawful behavior. Swift's decline was exacerbated by a crucial factor. He lacked an alternative path. Lacking financial savvy alongside basketball talent, his life took a swift turn. Similar to Swift, Reggie Harding began with bright prospects but concluded in sorrow. Reggie Harding, raised in Detroit, a city grappling with crime and hardship, Harding displayed an innate ability for basketball. Standing at 7 feet, he towered over his opponents on the basketball court, making waves in high school, which drew the attention of NBA scouts. In 1962, at the youthful age of 20, he was selected by the Detroit Pistons. His entry into the NBA was promising, showcasing significant skill with outstanding statistics in his early seasons. However, off the hardwood, his life began to unravel. Harding frequently found himself in precarious situations, grappling with substance abuse and legal troubles that continually pulled him under. His actions became increasingly erratic, distancing him from the league. By 1967, the Pistons reached their limit, marking the conclusion of his stint with the team. Unfortunately, his issues continued. He drifted between franchises like the Chicago Bulls and the Indiana Pacers. Yet his notoriety for aggression and poor camaraderie eclipsed his talent on the court. At one point, he even brandished a firearm at a fellow player. As his professional journey unraveled, Harding found himself with few options. His finances were in disarray, and lacking both a basketball career and a clear path forward, he ended up in dire straits. His NBA earnings quickly dissipated, and a troubled past hampered any chance for recovery. By 1972, his ongoing legal issues peaked in a deadly shooting incident, resulting in imprisonment and further financial despair. Tragically, Reggie Harding's life concluded in 1973. At the tender age of 26, he fell victim to a robbery that ended his life. A mix of unfortunate decisions and misfortune snuffed out a future brimming with potential. Similar to others mentioned here, Darius Miles lost everything, but he's now striving for redemption through his podcast. Darius Miles hails from East St. From the very start, life was tough for Miles. With a dedicated mother and a father who was never around, he turned to basketball for solace. His skills were evident from the beginning, and he entered the NBA as the third pick in 2000. At just 18, he made substantial earnings with franchises like the Clippers, Cavaliers, and Trailblazers, raking in an impressive $66 million over 7 years. Life felt like an illusion. Opulent residences, speedy vehicles, sparkling gems, and leading roles in blockbuster movies. Yet, the illusion was fleeting. By the age of 27, ongoing knee injuries compelled him to hang up his boots, severing the steady income he depended on. Regrettably, Miles' spending habits remained unchanged. He indulged in a lavish lifestyle and selflessly aided those close to him. Yet his expenditures became excessive. Coupled with unwise financial guidance and unsuccessful investments, his wealth diminished rapidly. A disastrous real estate venture in St. Louis, linked to celebrities like Nelly and Marshall Fahl, resulted in significant losses for him. Adjusting to life post-basketball proved to be increasingly challenging. In 2016, Miles declared bankruptcy, racking up debts exceeding $1.5 million against assets, totaling only $460,000. His situation worsened due to legal issues, including an airport gun charge, and the heartbreaking loss of his mother took a significant emotional toll on him. Once a renowned NBA player, he began parting with memorabilia and personal possessions to make ends meet. However, in recent years, Miles has sought to reclaim his life. He co-hosts a podcast named Knuckleheads alongside fellow former NBA star Quentin Richardson, offering reflections on his career and experiences. As Miles endeavors to regain his footing, the tale of Michael Ray Richardson highlights the challenges of recovery. Michael Ray Richardson's initial foray into the NBA began in 1978, when the New York Knicks surprised many by selecting him 4th overall, ahead of Larry Bird. Celebrated for his scoring, defensive prowess, and playmaking skills, Richardson rapidly validated the team's decision. In his sophomore season, he shone brightly, averaging more than 15 points per game. Richardson fell into the whirlwind of NBA stardom, particularly in the bustling atmosphere of New York City. Overwhelmed by the pressures of fame, he sought solace in drugs. By the mid-1980s, addiction began to impact his career severely. Skipping practices and delivering erratic performances became commonplace, leading to a tumultuous stint with the New Jersey Nets. Even with rehabilitation efforts and moments of brilliance, he continually breached the NBA's drug regulations. In 1986, Commissioner David Stern imposed a lifetime ban on him, marking him as the inaugural player to face such a consequence. Stripped of the NBA, Richardson found himself devoid of his main revenue stream and the stability his career offered. Addictions consumed his remaining finances, and unwise monetary choices exacerbated the situation. Like numerous athletes, He had enjoyed a luxurious lifestyle in his heyday, neglecting future preparations. Without a consistent income, debts accumulated swiftly, and his life descended into chaos. His challenges extended beyond money issues. Fractured relationships, divorces, and familial strife compounded his difficulties. What had once been a promising ascent for Richardson turned into a cautionary saga of how swiftly success can vanish. As Richardson's narrative concluded with financial ruin, Delonte West battles unfolded before the public eye. A talented guard, West gained recognition in the NBA with stints at the Boston Celtics, Cleveland Cavaliers, and Dallas Mavericks between 2004 and 2012. Throughout his 8-season career, he accrued nearly $16 million. West faced challenges due to bipolar disorder, impacting his consistency in life and basketball. Amid his mental health struggles, he also engaged in unwise financial choices. Extravagant purchases of vehicles, real estate, and various luxuries significantly depleted his finances. Ongoing legal matters, such as a divorce and child support obligations, compounded his economic difficulties. By the time of the 2011 NBA lockout, he confessed to being in such dire straits that he worked at a furniture store to make ends meet. Following his departure from the league in 2015, life took a turn for the worse. West struggled with substance addiction, turning to cigarettes tainted with embalming fluid that led to severe paranoia and vivid hallucinations. His financial situation plummeted, and by 2020, distressing footage revealed him living on the streets and pleading for help. This was a stark and sorrowful difference from his days in the NBA. However, there were moments of optimism when Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban offered his support. Cuban helped him enter rehabilitation and brought him back to his family. However, the path to recovery was challenging. While there were times of improvement, West encountered setbacks and legal troubles, such as an episode where he attempted to access a vehicle that belonged to someone else. In contrast to West's visible battles, Jay Vincent's decline unfolded through covert plots. Jay Vincent, selected by the Dallas Mavericks in 1981, Jay Vincent had a 9-year career in the NBA, playing for 6 different franchises, prominently including the Lakers during the 76ers rivalry. Vincent proved his worth on the court, averaging over 13 points per game for 7 consecutive seasons and amassing over 8,700 total points in his career. Although his salary was respectable for the 80s, it doesn't compare to the astronomical wages seen in today's NBA. Following his retirement in 1990, Vincent pursued business endeavors, aiming to sustain his lifestyle and create a legacy outside of basketball. Regrettably, circumstances unfolded contrary to his aspirations. In 2010, he was apprehended for orchestrating a fraudulent job training program in the security sector, defrauding numerous individuals of their funds. Victims paid advance fees, anticipating certifications and employment, yet received no such outcomes. The following year, Vincent admitted guilt to mail fraud and tax evasion, resulting in a hefty 5.5-year term in federal prison, alongside a restitution requirement exceeding $110,000. His decline stemmed not from lavish expenditures, as seen in some athlete stories, but from misguided choices in illicit activities. When Vincent was finally released from prison, he bore little resemblance to the man he once was, forced to work at a humble fast food restaurant in Michigan to survive. No longer basking in the spotlight, he began anew, interacting with diners and signing autographs at Juicy Burger, a far cry from the heights of his NBA career. Details surrounding Vincent's financial rebound remain scarce, but the legal issues he faced during his incarceration landed him in a dire predicament. Although he drifted into a life of crime, it's astonishing how Eddie Curry's fortune seemed to vanish into thin air. Eddie Curry soared from high school to being the 4th pick in the 2001 NBA draft, fulfilling the dream of many. Throughout an 11-year career, he suited up for franchises like the Chicago Bulls, New York Knicks, and Miami Heat, raking in an astonishing $70 million. However, his tale took a dark turn as financial troubles ensued. His lavish lifestyle, characterized by extravagant vehicles, lavish estates, and stunning jewelry, soon turned from opulence to overwhelming debt. He went so far as to secure loans with outrageous interest, such as a $580,000 one with an annual rate of 85%, all to sustain his lavish way of living. Additionally, he placed his finances in the hands of advisors who mismanaged them, leading him further into debt. His legal and personal issues compounded the situation. Curry had multiple children, and the significant child support payments, reaching $6,000 monthly in one instance, weighed heavily on him. In 2009, his luxurious home in Chicago faced foreclosure due to a $3.7 million mortgage. That same year, calamity struck as his former girlfriend and little girl were tragically killed, plunging Curry into deep emotional turmoil and financial hardship. A series of injuries and conditioning setbacks led to a downturn in his career. Once a celebrated star, Curry slowly receded from the limelight and his income dwindled. Even with millions behind him, Overwhelming debts and responsibilities left him financially broken. Yet, Curry chose to persevere. Lately, he is focused on piecing together his life and financial stability while recounting his journey to guide others away from similar traps. Much like Curry, Antoine Walker faced tough lessons in money management. Antoine Walker, as a standout player, he thrived in the NBA, raking in more than $108 million over a dozen years. His career included stints with prominent teams such as the Celtics, Mavericks, and Heat, culminating in an NBA championship win in 2006. Yet, his extravagant way of life outside the game led to everything unraveling. Walker resided in opulent mansions, drove high-end vehicles, donned designer attire, and even took flights on private jets. His generosity was boundless, as he lavished friends and relatives with gifts, residences, and automobiles. At one stage, he possessed 14 properties. Sadly, maintaining them turned into a financial disaster. His issues continued to escalate. Walker poured a significant amount of money into real estate right before the 2008 financial collapse. Those ventures plummeted, resulting in huge financial setbacks. Additionally, he took daring entrepreneurial risks by launching a record label and a fashion brand, both of which collapsed. Lacking sound financial strategies or support, his monetary woes only grew larger. Compounding his troubles, Walker succumbed to a gambling addiction, squandering millions in casinos. Before long, debts mounted and legal actions ensued. In 2010, he declared bankruptcy, reporting $12.7 million in liabilities versus merely $4.3 million in assets. I threw away a large sum of money on gambling. I frequented Vegas to gamble. My significant financial losses came from investing in real estate during the recession of 2007 to 2008. This was a global crisis that affected us all. I found myself entangled in it, leading to my downfall. However, after reaching my lowest point, Walker began anew, not in the NBA, but in his personal life. He shared his experience in a documentary titled Gone in an Instant, and now promotes the importance of financial education. Walker's struggles with gambling reflect Vincer's fight against addiction. Vincer, raised in traditional Seabrook, Connecticut, instilled with strong discipline and beliefs, Vincer enjoyed a remarkable beginning, being selected by the Milwaukee Bucks in the 1993 NBA draft. He swiftly gained recognition. Throughout the ensuing years, Vincer showcased his talent while playing for multiple teams, earning 4 selections as an NBA All-Star, demonstrating his remarkable abilities as both a power forward and center. During his prime, he was raking in over $100 million, and life felt like a fantasy. However, that blissful period soon took a turn for the worse. Although he had millions stored away, Vincer's expenditures grew wildly reckless. He basked in opulence, acquiring luxury cars, upscale properties, and living extravagantly. Additionally, he ventured into high-stakes investments in real estate and businesses that ultimately fell through, resulting in heavy financial setbacks. His lavish gifts to family and friends did not rectify the situation either. He frequently provided them with monetary assistance, which took a toll on his finances. However, the greatest challenge arose from his private life. With the advancement of his career, Baker faced difficulties with alcohol and drug dependency. What initiated as social drinking escalated into a severe addiction. Just as I faced my own struggles with alcohol, I found myself needing it to operate day to day. It was a genuine addiction. I had to have a drink in the morning or in the afternoon to avoid the shakes. His play on the court declined, and his private life spiraled into turmoil. By 2008, he had to declare bankruptcy, burdened with more than $70 million in debt. Properties were taken back, and his once bright future appeared bleak. Nevertheless, Baker persevered. He entered rehab to tackle his addiction and began coaching young basketball players, aiming to guide them away from the pitfalls he encountered. Similar to Baker, Shawn Kemp faced his own internal battles. Famously dubbed Rain Man, Kemp had a dazzling career in the NBA, representing teams such as the Seattle Supersonics, Cleveland Cavaliers, and Portland Trail Blazers. Renowned for his explosive dunks and remarkable athletic ability, he made a mark as a 6-time NBA All-Star and stood out as one of the most thrilling athletes of the 90s. However, despite accumulating a staggering $90 million during his tenure, his life later spiraled downward. During his peak, Kemp embraced the glamorous lifestyle of a sports icon. Lavish residences, luxurious vehicles, and an extravagant closet. Cash was flowing in, yet so were questionable choices. Rather than safeguarding his fortune, Kemp took a gamble on risky ventures, while child support consistently sapped his finances. With several children from various mothers, he found himself responsible for the upkeep of 7 kids simultaneously. The mounting pressures were overwhelming, and he was ill-equipped to handle it all. Then began the descent. Kemp's career took a turn for the worse as injuries and weight concerns hindered his performance, leading to escalating financial woes. Legal issues, including a drug possession charge and a lawsuit from a car accident, added to his burden. By 2013, he found himself over $5 million in debt and sought bankruptcy protection. Properties were lost to foreclosure, and his once flourishing career felt like a faded dream. However, Kemp remained resilient. He delved into fresh opportunities, such as launching a cannabis shop and engaging with community youth initiatives, aiming to reshape his future. Quite a decline, wouldn't you say? But hold on, there's more. Meet Joe Smith. Joe Smith transitioned from basketball fame to economic turmoil, and it began with his remarkable professional journey. In the 1995 NBA draft, he was selected as the first overall pick by the Golden State Warriors. This marked the beginning of a 16-season journey through basketball, during which he played for teams like the Philadelphia 76ers, Chicago Bulls, and New Jersey Nets, amassing over $60 million in earnings. However, despite this financial windfall, his fortunes began to decline. At the height of his career, Joe made some grave financial errors. He invested in real estate and other projects, but unfortunately, none of these ventures yielded the anticipated success. Additionally, he splurged on extravagant properties and high-end vehicles, indulging in a lavish lifestyle akin to numerous fellow athletes. The real setback came from the lack of sound financial guidance. Lacking a competent financial advisor, Smith made choices that quickly depleted his funds. Then, in 2011, disaster struck. Smith was unknowingly granted an $80 million loan by his financial advisor. The loan was concealed from the NBA, and it ultimately constituted a significant breach of league regulations. Once this controversy emerged, it inflicted serious harm on his reputation and professional life. However, that was just the beginning. By 2012, Joe had declared bankruptcy, burdened with millions in liabilities. A large portion of that debt stemmed from the undisclosed loan and overdue taxes. Once everything crumbled, Joe sought redemption by guiding others to avoid his pitfalls. He emphasized the critical nature of financial management, especially for those in sports, as his experience serves as a harsh reminder of how swiftly fortunes can vanish, regardless of wealth. Joe Smith's covert transactions led him astray, and the saga of Bison deals took an even more sinister path. Bison Dell and Brian Williams. Bison Dell enjoyed a lifestyle that many only aspire to, replete with thrills and opulence. As a professional basketball player, he shone brightly, raking in substantial earnings with prominent franchises such as the Chicago Bulls and the Detroit Pistons. He clinched an NBA championship with the Bulls in 1997. His exceptional skills and adaptability on the floor distinguished him, leading to a staggering $45 million contract with the Pistons during his prime. Yet, in 1999, at nearly 30, Bison abruptly stepped away, forfeiting $36 million still due to him. What drove this decision? Burdened by the demands of competitive athletics, he yearned for a life dictated by his own desires. Upon retiring, Bison rejected a mundane existence. He sought liberation and indulgence, journeying across the globe. He discovered enchanting locales and purchased a catamaran for ocean voyages. From participating in bull runs in Spain to exploring distant, hidden gems worldwide, he thrived in adventure. In 2002, a troubling incident unfolded when Bison vanished in the South Pacific alongside his girlfriend, Serena Carlin, and his brother, Miles DeBoard, who was also the captain. Subsequent inquiries revealed a bleak outcome. Authorities suspected that DeBoard may have murdered Bison and the others during a dispute over finances. His attempt to falsify Bison's signature to seize his assets further fueled concerns about his financial intentions. Although Bison wasn't in financial ruin at the time of his passing, his early retirement, extravagant lifestyle, and unconventional choices destabilized his finances. His enigma of a disappearance stands as one of the eeriest tales in the realm of sports. While Dell's narrative remains unsolved, Rick Mahorn's journey illustrates that even those who exercise caution can find themselves in financial straits. Renowned for his gritty, straightforward approach, Rick Mahorn enjoyed a successful NBA career, notably with the Detroit Pistons. Recognized for his aggressive playing style, Mahorn was instrumental in the Pistons' victories in the NBA championships of 1989 and 1990. Throughout his 18-year career, he amassed approximately $27 million, a considerable figure for his era, yet it pales in comparison to current NBA salaries. He donned jerseys for multiple teams, such as the Pistons, Washington Bullets, Philadelphia 76ers, and New Jersey Nets. However, as his basketball career concluded, financial difficulties arose. Following his retirement, Mahorn ventured into various business opportunities. Regrettably, a few of them did not thrive. He ventured into property dealings, yet the market proved to be unpredictable. Several of his investments fell short of expectations, causing his situation to deteriorate. Before long, Mahorn was confronted with the possibility of losing his home, a harsh setback from the opulent life he once enjoyed. Nevertheless, Mahorn remained resilient and refused to surrender. He remained engaged in basketball, serving as a coach and eventually taking on the role of a broadcaster for the Pistons. His passion for the sport stayed alive, yet his financial woes persisted. In 2010, Mahorn declared bankruptcy after coming to the harsh realization that his earnings were insufficient to manage his escalating debts. His lavish spending habits greatly exceeded his income, leading to monthly costs that overwhelmed his financial situation. Did you find this video entertaining? Tap on any card displayed on your screen at this moment for related content. Much appreciated.